The role and function of the Media and Public Affairs team is to essentially communicate all our exhibitions and public programs to journalists who in turn write stories to promote the exhibitions and our public programs. A typical day in my department is quite varied, quite fast-paced. We're constantly ringing journalists to give our pitch. We essentially create a pitch where we give the highlights of the exhibition, I guess, the sort of the best, juiciest parts of the exhibition. We talk about the particular art movement, we talk about the painters that are in the exhibition or the sculptors, we talk about the various curators who are great to chat to, who they can interview for their story, and then we give our pitch and we see if the journalist likes it. We also spend a great deal of our time liaising with all the departments. We get to talk to curatorial and all the curators and go in depth about what the themes are in the exhibition, what the images are, what their curatorial perspective is on the show. We then have chats with the photography department and multimedia department. We need the best assets that we can in terms of beautiful, stunning, colourful images and great video in order to sell the exhibition. The primary skills that you need are probably writing, selling and building relationships. You need to really get a buzz from promoting an exhibition and seeing a story come out in the paper or seeing an online picture gallery of an exhibition that you're promoting. I came into the role of senior publicist through publicising art exhibitions and music gigs at the Art Centre prior to this role. I was a journalist for 8 years, so I studied journalism at RMIT. I became a cadet journalist at Fairfax, and I wrote lifestyle columns for City Weekly and Melbourne Weekly. Then I went to The Leader and wrote hard news at The Leader, so cops and courts and politics and all that sort of thing. Fashion is a passion of mine, so I went to Singapore to work at Harper's Bazaar as a feature writer there. And then I came back and I started arts editing for Leader newspapers and doing a little bit of news reporting there. The key objectives and aims for this year's Melbourne Winter Masterpieces that we convey the great life and the amazing art collection of Catherine the Great. Her collection built the Hermitage, which has over 3 million items in its collection today. In the exhibition, there's examples from France, England, there's Dutch and Flemish art, some of the best to come to Australia. She was a very enlightened woman. She had friends that were philosophers. She was also incredibly passionate about dining and you know, she used the tea set that we'll display in the exhibition, and she had these elaborate banquets of 300 courses. So there's a lot of richness and opulence to the exhibition, which we're also trying to convey. For a media campaign with Melbourne Winter Masterpieces and any large campaign we do at the NGV, there's various stages that we go through. We begin at the media materials and we create what's called a media kit, where you write a media release. So it's essentially a 2-page summary of the show. You include the highlight works, you include quotes from our director, from our curators, and other essential information, and all the sort of things that journalists need to know, the number of works. So it's facts, it's themes, and it's and quotes to be able to put in their story. We then compile a group of images, so the key images and key works from the show. For then probably about 6 weeks, we spend a lot of time on the phones and on email, calling journalists and emailing journalists and using this media kit along with a pitch that we've written where it explains the angles for them or the particular highlights for them and how they could potentially cover it. Then it all culminates in the big media preview a day before the exhibition, where the morning we invite a few hundred journalists to come and visit the exhibition, so that the TV, the radio, online, the papers, they all come down to preview the exhibition and to do their stories. Obviously, in any art form, reviews are key. So a good review means more ticket sales and more people will come to the exhibition. Throughout the duration of the exhibition, it runs for about 3 to 4 months. It's important for us to get more media moments throughout that time. So we look to create picture opportunities and unique moments where we can talk about new milestones that come up. So we might invite our 100,000th visitor to come and have a photo at a key work in the exhibition and give them a prize and a catalogue and things like that, just to keep that media coverage happening and keep that ticking along. We also might pick out different key works from the exhibition and talk about them more in depth and the curiosities and the stories behind each work. So it's important that we mine the exhibition, I guess, as it goes along for richer and deeper stories, so we convey more stories and get more media moments.